General Hospital spoilers reveal that the restructuring of the support system around Sasha, a character who has been struggling with personal tragedy, loss, and emotional trauma in recent times, is central to the current storyline. And now, with Jason, the one person who had been her strongest pillar, the only one who ever made her feel truly protected and cared for, no longer by her side, everything seems to be falling apart bit by bit. His absence is not only a void in her emotional life, but also a strategic loss, a real shock to the development of Sasha's character. In the past, every time Sasha fell, Jason was the one who quietly stood behind her, acting as a wall against the storms that threatened her. From the nightmares of losing her son to the time she battled addiction, Jason had never turned his back. But now, with his sudden disappearance, Sasha is left dangling between two worlds, one filled with past pain she hasn't been able to let go of, and another, a future full of uncertainty with no one to guide her. This has paved the way for one of the biggest shifts in the storyline. Sasha needs a new person, a new strength, whether it comes from within her or from an entirely unexpected character. This adjustment, which began as a seemingly simple script change, is quickly turning into an explosive wave among the fanbase. Some believe this is the perfect time to introduce a completely new male character, someone with no prior connection to any of the powerful families in Port Charles, someone who could spiritually and emotionally rebirth Sasha. But others argue that this is Sasha's moment to rise up, no longer relying on anyone, but becoming a strong, independent, and perhaps more dangerous woman than ever before. Jason's withdrawal has inadvertently placed Sasha in a precarious situation, but it's also an opportunity for her to reveal an unseen side of herself. The producers of General Hospital seem to be testing a new direction, turning Sasha from a victim into an active force, someone who no longer seeks help but creates change and influences others. This is not just a shift in character structure, it's a true explosion in how the show is building a female-driven storyline. The biggest question now is, who will replace Jason as Sasha's protector? Could it be Sonny, the man who once regretted not being able to protect her in the past? Or might it be Michael, the father of Sasha's unborn child, who will be forced to confront complicated emotions and shoulder responsibilities he had previously avoided? There are even rumors that General Hospital is quietly building a connection between Sasha and another powerful female character like Anna Devane, something that could bring Sasha into intense action and detective storylines she's never explored before. Regardless of the direction, this change is sure to create a new wave for the entire storyline. Sasha, once seen as nothing more than a victim of fate, is now standing at a major crossroads where she could either continue to fall, or rise up and become the new focal point of Port Charles. And in that moment, where a character rediscovers herself through pain and loss, we will witness one of the most memorable rebirths in the history of General Hospital. Port Charles is about to be rocked by a new storm, a truth that seemed impossible but is slowly being revealed. After months of pain, loneliness, and drifting through a sea of events, Sasha is about to enter an entirely new chapter of her life. A chapter where she is no longer an outsider, no longer the girl on the sidelines of powerful families, but the center of a huge secret linked to two people who were once legends in Port Charles, Holly and Robert. Their return is not just a surprising visit but brings with it a world-shattering secret that, if revealed, would rewrite the entire history of relationships in this town. Sasha is their biological daughter. And that changes everything. There was a time when Sasha felt like she didn't belong anywhere. She pretended to be Nina's daughter, only for that to be exposed. She was once Michael's girlfriend, only to lose her child, lose her direction, and almost lose herself. When Jason entered her life as a quiet protector, an unexpected support, Sasha thought she had finally found someone to rely on. But now, with Jason gone from her life, whether due to personal choices or undisclosed events, Sasha once again finds herself adrift in the storm. And it is in that moment, when she is most vulnerable, that the truth about her biological parents begins to emerge. No one ever thought Holly, the woman who had been caught up in countless espionage schemes, who had deeply loved Robert but always lived in secret silences, would have a child no one knew about. No one ever thought Robert, the symbol of justice and principles, would have kept such an important secret for so many years. But the years spent working in the world of secret services, the covert missions, the periods of disappearance, and the silence with no explanation, all of that is now beginning to make sense. And the answer is Sasha. She is not a girl without roots. She is the product of a secret love affair, hidden for reasons of safety, politics, and dangers beyond their control. This truth not only shakes Sasha's life but will also affect many other characters. Maxie, Sasha's close friend and loyal supporter, will be shocked and emotional when she learns that her friend is actually the daughter of two of the people she admires most. Anna, who was Robert's former lover, will not be able to avoid her conflicting feelings when she finds out Robert had a secret child, and moreover, that child is the girl who once suffered from addiction, nearly died, and was pitied by all of Port Charles. And Robin, Robert's biological daughter, will have to face the fact that she has a sister she never knew about. This will lead to a flood of complex emotions, suspicion, anger, and perhaps empathy. After all, Robin grew up surrounded by secrets, having to find her place in a world filled with fractures between the past and present. Will she accept Sasha as part of the family, or will she reject her, keeping her distance? That question will be one of the next major plot points. Michael, who once loved Sasha and is the father of the child she lost, will now have to come to terms with the fact that she is no longer just a lost woman, but the daughter of Robert and Holly, two people who have a deep influence on the town. Will he regret letting her go? Or will he feel threatened as Sasha's position and influence have now completely changed? Meanwhile, Carly, Michael's mother, will certainly have opinions on this. Carly is always keen at sensing potential threats, and with Sasha now carrying the Scorpio bloodline, no one knows whether Carly will view this as an opportunity or a new problem. Holly and Robert's return will raise even bigger questions. Where have they been all this time? Why have they kept Sasha's truth a secret? And what has prompted them to return now? Is it just to reconnect with their daughter? Or is there an underlying plot at play? With a past full of secrets, no one can be sure of their true motives. It could be love, it could be politics. Or it could be both. Meanwhile, Sasha will have to fight with her own emotions. She has always been used to being someone no one needed, someone who suffered the most. Now, when she suddenly has a family, she doesn't know if she can trust them, forgive them, or accept them. Everyone will look at her and see someone lucky, recognized, loved. But inside, Sasha is still deeply wounded, still filled with doubts, still afraid of being abandoned again. Port Charles is about to enter a new phase. The truth about Sasha is not just a shock. It is the beginning of a series of cascading events that could change the entire power dynamic in the town. When someone who once seemed weak now carries the strongest bloodline. When a girl once only seen as a victim now has the potential to become the new strategic center, everything will change. Alliances will have to be restructured. Old relationships will be tested. Other secrets, perhaps even bigger ones, will be dragged into the light. And most importantly, this will be one of the biggest adjustments General Hospital has ever made. Not just in terms of the storyline, but in how the audience views a character once seen as small, but now capable of changing the entire world. Sasha will no longer be the past. She is the future. And that future has just begun. Port Charles has never been peaceful, but now, the storm is rising once again, on a scale and with a depth completely new. When Holly returns to town, everyone thinks it's just an emotional visit to reunite with Sasha, the daughter she's been quietly estranged from her entire life. But what no one expects is that Holly brings with her a major announcement, a turning point not only for her but for the entire power structure of the underground world. She has officially become the new head of the WSB. And this change, like a storm quietly gathering, is one of the new shifts taking place, marking the beginning of an entirely new era for both the WSB and Holly herself. Beneath her calm exterior and the maternal love she holds for Sasha, a highly strategic plan has been meticulously calculated. Holly's return is not just to reconnect with family but to undertake an unprecedented mission. to strengthen the WSB's power right here in Port Charles, a town that is quickly becoming a hotspot for rising underground forces. And at the heart of it all, none other than Sasha. From the moment Holly announces her new role, the power dynamics in the shadows begin to shift. Old alliances are gradually broken, shadowy figures begin to emerge. And a quiet war is being prepared, step by step. One of the most dangerous threats currently is Sidwell, who once had ties to a rogue faction exiled from the WSB. He's rumored to be plotting to regain power and establish a completely new control system by exploiting Holly's one weakness, Sasha. Sasha, who is already struggling with the shocking truth about her origins, has now become a target for those seeking to strike at Holly. This forces Holly to completely overhaul her personal security system, not only as a mother who has just found her daughter, but as the head of an organization that survives on absolute secrecy and strategy. This new adjustment in her approach, from protecting the world to protecting her family and loved ones, marks a deeply personal shift, but it also exposes a critical vulnerability. Meanwhile, Sidwell shows no hesitation. With his cold vision and political connections, he is ready to exploit any gap in the WSB's new leadership structure. He knows Holly is a seasoned agent. But motherhood could be her weakness, and Sasha is the perfect piece to bring her down. Sidwell doesn't just want to take Holly down, he wants to turn Sasha into his pawn. A symbol of the failure of an old leadership generation that no longer has the ruthlessness to maintain power. Of course, Holly realizes this. She begins mobilizing her loyal forces, setting up protective measures for Sasha, using every connection with Anna, Robert, Valentine, and even retired agents to create an invisible shield around her. But what Holly cannot control is Sasha's own mindset, the internal conflict she faces between accepting her new role as part of a dangerous world or continuing to live the life of a woman who once longed for peace. Sasha isn't sure if she has the strength to stand in the middle of this battle, but she knows, this time, there's no room for weakness. With Jason gone, and Michael too distant, Sasha must find her own voice in a world where only the strong survive. This battle is not just between two individuals, Holly and Sidwell, but between two philosophies. One of humanitarian leadership and protection, and the other of control through fear, manipulation, and destruction. And Sasha, both a victim and a symbol, may very well be the one who decides the final outcome. With Holly's new role, every link in the chain is beginning to change. The WSB is no longer just a shadow organization, it's stepping into the light and beginning to intervene directly in the everyday life of Port Charles. This will certainly prompt reactions from other key characters. Sunny will question why an international underground organization is quietly manipulating the town. Anna, as a seasoned agent, will be torn between loyalty to Holly and suspicion that the WSB is crossing boundaries. And Robert, though still deeply fond of Holly, will not be able to ignore moves that could shake the fragile balance of the town. The battle is becoming clearer every day. No longer are the moves made in the shadows, it's a direct clash. A new war is coming, and all roads lead to Sasha. No longer just a girl who has suffered many tragedies, she is now the center of an international conflict. The link between the past and present in a battle no one can stand aside from. And as night falls over Port Charles, one thing is certain, no one, neither Holly, Sidwell, nor Sasha, will be the same again. A new era is beginning, and we've only just witnessed the first step. Holly and Robert have returned to Port Charles. Not only as legendary figures carrying a past full of secrets but also with a new, more important goal than ever before, to protect Sasha's future at all costs. After the shocking truth is revealed that Sasha is their biological daughter, both Holly and Robert are no longer mere bystanders in her life. They've entered the real battle, a battle not just for love, but for power, for honor, and for the future Sasha deserves. And the first crucial point they must secure is custody of the child Sasha is carrying or has lost, the heartbreaking story that is now being revived through rumors in Port Charles. Custody, something that would normally be a straightforward legal issue, has now become the center of a political, emotional, and highly strategic battle. Holly, now the head of the WSB, possesses immense power and resources, but she must confront biases, tangled laws, and covert opposition from those who do not want Sasha to become the new center of power in Port Charles. Meanwhile, Robert, known for his principled thinking and cautious actions, shows his first real emotional impulsiveness when it comes to his daughter. He will not accept Sasha being once again put in the hands of those who might exploit her or worse, turn her into a tool in the dark power struggle Sidwell is planning. With the instincts of a father and the prowess of a seasoned warrior, Robert makes it clear, if they must go to court, if they must face any force, he and Holly will do whatever it takes to secure custody and protect Sasha, even activating the full legal, security, and diplomatic systems they've built over decades of international connections. This is not just about protecting a daughter, it's a clear statement to all those targeting Sasha, she is no longer alone. But as with everything in Port Charles, no battle is simple. Michael, the man who was once Sasha's boyfriend and the father of the child she's carrying, will not sit idly by while his paternal rights are taken away. Carly, with the sharpness and decisiveness of a mother, will not stand on the sidelines when she feels her family is threatened. Sonny, with his complex history with Robert, may step in with an unpredictable stance, either protecting Michael or supporting Sasha, depending on what benefits the current balance of power in Port Charles. Meanwhile, Sidwell, who once operated quietly in the shadows, now makes his ambitions clear. He knows that if he can win Sasha's trust or exploit her vulnerabilities during this period of pain, he can strike a heavy blow to both Holly and Robert, perhaps even using Sasha's child as a bargaining chip. To him, Holly and Robert's fight for custody is not just a family matter, it's a political strike, and he's not afraid to retaliate in the dirtiest of ways. The battle for custody, which should be a straightforward legal issue, has now become one of the most powerful eruptions yet, setting the stage for a multi-layered war between those who once loved, those who scheme, and those fighting for influence in Port Charles. In the eye of the storm, Sasha is no longer a victim. She is the epicenter of a seismic shift. And to protect her, Holly and Robert will stop at nothing, using every strategy, every connection, and every ounce of strength they've acquired over a lifetime as spies and justice fighters. The situation is pushing all characters into a direct confrontation. The courtroom may become the battlefield, where not only will the legal question of who has the right to care for the child be decided, but also where the accumulated conflicts between families, generations, and philosophies of life will reach their peak. Will the law side with Holly and Robert, or will they face an entire system working against them? Will Sasha be strong enough to declare her own choice, or will she be caught in the machinations of others once again? The answer is unclear. But one thing is certain, a new battle has begun. Not just for the child, but for the future, for honor, and for the family that was thought to be lost but has now been found. And in this battle, no one can stay on the sidelines.